The number 67 has several meanings depending on the context, including a viral internet meme referring to a song, Doot Doot by Skrilla, an NBA player LaMelo Ball's height of 6'7", or being a phone feature to block caller ID. In slang, it can mean so-so, or be intentionally used to create a sense of mystery. But in today's video, we're giving a whole other meaning to the viral 6'7" meme.
Six, 7. Yes, I'm 6'7". I grew up with my parents, and when they got divorced, I was devastated as hell. At the age of 15, I ran away from my mom's house to my father's new home, only to find out he was remarried and had a stepson. He obviously cared more about his new family than me, because I was eventually shipped away to my grandparents on my dad's side. By then, I already stood 6'7". My grandfather was senile, and my grandmother somehow managed to emasculate me worse than my mother.
What are you doing standing around in the kitchen? Get out of the way before I abandon you like your parents!
It felt so good taking out those old geezers. Afterwards, I had no intention of trying to run or hide. I phoned the police and confessed. Nobody could understand how a 15-year-old could do what I did without being insane. So I was sent to a maximum security psychiatric hospital. While incarcerated, I genuinely began to turn my life around. I had a good relationship with all the guards and doctors. Heck, I even made friends among the other patients. And there were some real freaks in there. Turns out my family was just that terrible. After 6-7 years of rigorous psychiatric therapy, I was fully rehabilitated. It was time for me to re-enter society. Unfortunately, I had no place to go, except right back to my mother's house. We fought endlessly, just screaming and violence all the time. Even after I got my own apartment, my mother would still not get out of my life. She was constantly calling me, making surprise visits, and doing everything she could to make me miserable again. With all that rage building up once more, I needed an outlet. Luckily, I live near a university, so there was plenty of young women all around to draw my attention. Back in the day, hitchhiking was a common thing. I guess it isn't anymore because of people like me, because I was using that to my advantage. When life sucks and your mother's a bitch, nothing satisfies like picking up 6-7 college chicks, then snuffing their lives out and doing unspeakable things to their corpses. Need a ride?
Yeah, can you give me a ride to Stanford?
Sure, get in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for this. I don't mind giving you some gas money for your troubles.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
Thank you again. You have no idea how awesome you are. I was waiting out there for so damn... Hello? Where are we? This doesn't look like Stanford. What the hell? Take these off!
Relax, I'm not gonna kill you.
Let me go! Stop, please! Help! Somebody help!
Going somewhere?
Yeah? Can you take...
Come on, that's it. Just a little longer. So where are you two headed?
Oh, you know, we're going.
Man, those were the days. Sadly, all good things must come to an end though. And at some point, I had to admit that my heart just wasn't in it anymore. As much as I appreciated the freedom of being able to kill anyone I liked and have my way with their bodies, I honestly preferred my life in the psych ward. There was just one person I had to take care of before confessing to my crimes and going away forever. My mother. Truthfully, it all started with her, so it only felt right that it should end with her.
Ed, is that you? Close the damn door. I'm trying to sleep.
It's time, Mother.
What?
This next 6'7" incident revolves around a 6'7" serial killer named Edmund Kemper, who is frequently described as being 6'7" and was a prominent subject in the true crime genre, particularly known for his co-ed murders in the 1970s. Kemper murdered his grandmother when he was 15 years old. He was sent to a mental hospital for 5 years as a result, but was eventually released after psychiatrists deemed him cured. Kemper was anything but, however. Upon his release, he embarked on an 11-month killing spree that terrorized Santa Cruz, California. He murdered and dismembered several women over the years and would perform acts on the corpses. Kemper's victims weren't only young women, though. He also brutally took out his own mother and her friend in April 1973. Afterward, Kemper fled California, only to telephone police from a Colorado phone booth and turn himself in.
Six, 7. I don't know why everyone keeps saying that or what in the world it's supposed to mean, but to me, it just keeps reminding me the date my life went to shit. June 7th. Back in the day, I had it all. A multi-million-dollar law practice, a hot wife, a son who could stay out of trouble, and oh yeah, a hot rod powerboat. One day, June 7th, or 6-7 as I keep hearing, we went on a family boat trip. My wife Maggie was with me, as well as my son Paul and his new girlfriend Mallory. At first, we fished for a while, but when we didn't catch anything good, we went to an oyster roast. We ate, drank, smoked, just whatever. On the way back though, I wasn't quite ready to pack it in, so I stopped us at a dockside bar for a few more drinks.
Hey, Dad, you're stumbling a bit there. You good to drive? Of course I am. You think I'm gonna let you drive? That's 150 horsepower pushing that thing. You can't handle it.
Oh, come on, Alex. He's a grown man. It's just a few miles anyway.
Fine, but I'm docking it.
That was around midnight, but I had good lights on my boat, so he should have been able to see just fine. But we were all drunk, so I told him to take it slow. Without even warning us, Paul went full throttle.
Ah! What the hell are you doing, Paul? Slow down! Relax, Dad. Just because you're too pussy to get up to speed doesn't mean I am. You snotty little bastard! You're never driving my boat again! You hear me? Guess I gotta enjoy it while I can.
Woohoo! Yeah, go, baby, go!
Shut up! Stop encouraging it!
Alex, be nice to her. Oh, look out!
Oh, shit! Paul! The bridge! Slow down! Paul!
By the time he realized his mistake, it was too late. Paul crashed my boat right into Archer's Creek Bridge. We were all thrown overboard and plunged into the darkness of the river. It was pure chaos. I couldn't see anything, and the impact put this ringing in my ears that made it impossible to hear anyone calling for help. All any of us could do was swim to shore. Miraculously, my wife, my son, and I survived with only minor injuries. Sadly, that poor girl Mallory never surfaced. We searched and searched for her, but she was gone. Days later, they recovered her body 5 miles down the river. My son was blamed for her death and arrested. I never should have let him drive the boat in the first place. I knew he couldn't do it sober, but to make matters worse, he was wasted. After that, my life started falling apart. My wife blamed me for everything that happened. We bailed Paul out of jail and told him we would do everything we could to keep him from going to prison, but he was racked with guilt and just never the same after that. Then, a couple years later, as if God couldn't take anything else from me, I found my wife and son dead. They'd been murdered. It had to be revenge. The family of the girl that died, they must have known I'd keep my son out of prison, so they killed him. But my wife, why did they have to kill her? Was my family not already in ruins? Perhaps they don't care about the details of how their daughter died. They just wanted to blame everyone that had anything to do with it. Anyone who was on that boat. My boat. Which means it won't be long until they come for me, the father of the man who murdered their daughter. My only choice if I want to go on living is to find out who murdered my family, prove it was them, and stop them before they kill me. That's my only option, right? It's not like someone could have already taken matters into his own hands. Someone else could have exacted revenge from the people who destroyed his life, who ruined everything he worked so hard for.
Oh God! Maggie! Come here! It's horrible!
Alex, what's wrong?
Just get in here now! Oh God!
Okay, I'm coming. Alex, what's happening? Tell me.
He took his own life. I swear to God he did.
Who?
Our son!
No! My baby! This can't be happening! No! My baby boy! No!
Don't cry. It'll be over soon.
Please don't!
Just be still. This won't hurt a bit.
This 6-7 story revolves around an incident that happened on June 7th, otherwise known as 6-7. On June 7th of 2021, Paul Murdaugh and his mother Maggie were murdered. Prior to that, Paul crashed his family boat into another, taking out a female named Mallory Beach and injuring 2 other passengers. Murdaugh was charged with the death and injuries, including boating under the influence. He pleaded not guilty and was released on bond. He was eventually killed along with his mother on 6-7. At the time, his father Alex Murdaugh theorized that Paul and Maggie were targeted in retaliation for the boat accident. It was later revealed that the father did it because he wanted to gain sympathy and divert attention from his mounting financial crime. Alex Murdaugh was charged with their homicides over 13 months later. I've tried so hard to get this out of my head, but seeing 6-7 everywhere is forcing me to remember everything. My dad was 67 when it happened. Prior to this incident, my mom passed away due to natural causes, leaving my dad to be living completely alone. At the time, he was in a small 2-bedroom apartment on the 20th floor. I moved out many years ago and started my own family, so my parents had downsized from their house to something more affordable. Of course, I tried to visit my dad as much as possible, but between work, my kids, and just life in general, I was too busy to see him. I knew he was getting lonely, and I'm sure that's what led him into taking in Natasha. She was a homeless crack addict with a violent criminal history. My dad didn't know anything about her past life though. All he saw was a person in need, and him being the way he is, he wanted to help her. From the start, I was against her being anywhere near my father. I'd seen her before lurking around the apartment block, begging for change, offering herself up in exchange for drugs, and making the entire neighborhood look like trash just by her presence. When I met her in person, it was even worse. She didn't have any redeeming qualities, no charming personality, not even a tragic backstory to explain how she ended up where she was. It became clear to me that she had chosen drugs and degeneracy again and again, using whatever means or people necessary, and discarding them when they no longer served a purpose. Not long after hoeing herself out on the streets, she eventually came across her next mark, who happened to be my dad. It's not surprising to me that she spun a web of lies and delusions to convince my dad to take her in. And since my dad was so emotionally vulnerable, it worked. Ever since she started living in my dad's spare room, she caused nothing but chaos and catastrophe. She used inside the apartment constantly, sometimes in her room, but oftentimes just sprawled out on the living room floor, writhing and muttering complete crack nonsense. When she wasn't high, She was paranoidly accusing my father of stealing and trying to assault her in her sleep. There were a lot of times that I went to visit my dad and found a random thug taking up space in the apartment. It was always just some drug dealer or pimp there to trade intercourse for drugs with Natasha, but she would tell me in a sly, sneering voice that they were there to protect her from my father, a harmless 67-year-old man still grieving the loss of his wife. One night, I was at home with my family about to put the kids to bed when I got a random call from my dad, a phone call that I'll never forget.
Hello? Dad? Are you there? Dad? What's going on? Dad? Shit!
When the call dropped, I had no idea what was happening. I drove there as fast as I could. A million things were running through my head. I never had my dad sound so scared in my life. What could that bitch be possibly doing? As soon as I got to the apartment, I didn't bother knocking. I busted right through the door. When I saw what was happening though, I knew it was already too late. My dad wasn't moving. He was just on the floor, with Natasha on top of him, as she stabbed him again and again and again. I was in shock. I couldn't move. I wanted to kill her. I wanted to run. All I could do was watch. A few seconds later, she finally noticed me.
You came for him! I'll kill you too!
She came right at me. I put my hand out to grab her wrist with one thought in my hand. Don't let her cut me. She spat at me and tried to bite me, flailing around like crazy. I finally wrenched the blade out of her hand when I buried my nails between her bones. But I still couldn't hold on to her. She shoved me back then ran off. There was no way in hell I was going to follow her. She'd nearly killed me. And also, my father was still there. I went to him, but he was gone. With the amount of blood, the number of stab wounds, there was just no way. I called 911, hoping despite it all that he could survive. But sadly, the paramedics just confirmed he was dead by the time I got there. The cops located Natasha soon after, in a nearby alleyway, absolutely cracked out of her mind. Today, I am still grieving, still making sure that wretched waste of flesh never sees the light of day again. As I try to move on, so many little things bring the pain rushing back. My father was 67 when he died, and now every time I hear some kids say 6'7", it's like a punch in the face. This next 6'7" story revolves around a 67-year-old widower male who was stabbed to death in an apartment which he had shared with his late wife for almost 2 decades. The suspect, Natasha McCallum, 42, was arrested and charged with second-degree murder after Robert was found with fatal stab wounds inside his 20th floor apartment. Robert's son said he knew McCallum had been living with his father for a few weeks after his father offered to take her in. Apparently, this Natasha girl was homeless and she needed somewhere to go, and the way my dad is, he is very caring and giving and offered her a place to stay. The victim's family was upset to learn that the suspect charged with his murder was eventually out on bail. The family has started a GoFundMe campaign to help cover funeral expenses for Robert.